What's up, world? It's Josh, and I woke up this morning and it's like I started over, you know. It's like that rebirth you get every morning. You wake up and it's like a new day. Start over, do everything different. Not better or worse, just cure any ailments that may have bothered me yesterday and try to find some new resources to make today as good as it can possibly be. But thinking about sleeping, it gives us a certain recharge and a rebirth. You know, I remember asking years ago, why do we sleep? Why do we need sleep? And I heard this, saw this documentary recently that talked about why plants sleep. And they found that they actually do, which most people would assume that plants sleep to an extent. I mean, that's kind of obvious. They go through cycles just like everything else. You know, anybody who's grown a garden knows that in the daytime the leaves stand up straight, and at night they tend to kind of fall around and protect the plant from the cold, and just kind of chills out, you know, and relaxes. Allows it to get ready for the next day of growth, and that's the way I see sleeping for us too. So, in other words, if I had an opportunity to avoid sleep, I saw this, I was watching Family Guy the other night, and it was this episode where they Stan finds these, or it was American Dad, Stan finds these pills that, because he works for the CIA, you know, pills that allow him to not sleep. And he gets to get all this stuff done. It makes him so happy because he gets to spend his night doing his stuff, you know, and his daytime with the family. And it's kind of a funny joke, but I really thought about it, you know, like, what would it be like to not sleep? But anyway, it helps to develop, to build our integrity. And that's kind of what I wanted to really talk about in this video, was integrity, because that word is, I think it's misunderstood by many. Now, integrity does not mean your composure or how you hold yourself. Integrity does not mean, oh, there's an upstanding citizen. Integrity does not mean you have clout or that you have respect. Integrity means that, well, the word itself explains it. You're integrated. And I've really been working on this for the last few years because I'm working on a system for myself to try to integrate myself into society as best I can without resisting the system in play. In other words, I'm not going to fight against things that aren't the way that I ideally would like them to be, unless I can see that a majority of people want it that way. I guess in other words, I try to work with a democratic mind. There are some issues that only a few people are aware of, and so to integrate, I guess, to have integrity, you know, means to be able to have a conversation with people and fit in on whatever level, whatever particular level that they're on, not higher or lower, just different areas of thinking. And what integrity means to me is to look around at the world, see how it really operates, not your ideal operation, but how it really operates, and to learn to integrate with that. Now, the more we fight against things that we don't think are valid, it's hard to explain without sounding like, you know, being passive. We need to fight against things that we see that are injustices, that we can obviously see are injustices, things that are going wrong, things that the government's not fulfilling their end of the obligations, their bargain, workplace drama, family problems. We have to work these things out. But we can't scream at the world to listen to what we have to say. If, for particular, let's say that, I guess a good example would be, you have to balance, I guess, you have to balance your willingness to be part of the group with your willingness to speak out on injustice. For example, a guy like Snowden, you know, he's out there, and the U.S. government wants him. People say he's a hero, some people say he's a traitor. Was that a move that was done with integrity? And in my eyes, yes. That's one example of integrity that doesn't fit in with the masses. This is a person who's trying to show justice because he's the only one privy to this particular information. You know what I'm saying? But then there's information that we're all privy to, that we can all make decisions on. So the issues that we can all see plainly in front of us, such as, you know, trees are green, and, you know, if you throw something up in the air, it comes back down, gravity, things like that. These are the things that I'm talking about with integrity. There's for example, the flat earthers. You know, there's still people who believe the earth is flat. And it's because they haven't integrated themselves with the collective system. Now, that's not often always the right course. You don't always just jump on the bandwagon, of course. But when 99.99% of the people agree with one thing, and science has shown it, then you have to integrate that into yourself, into your way of thinking. It's almost like I see a lot of folks who are resisting things not because they're obviously not true, but because it makes things seem too simple, or we want to complicate everything, even the simple things, you know, such as, should we or shouldn't we feed the homeless? Or should we or shouldn't we, you know, help people that are hungry or in a bad way? You know, there's all these different, you know, socialist and capitalist ideas and theories, and people say, well, if you do this, then the people won't work, and other people say, no, you have to help out people so they will have the energy to work, on and on and on. But what it comes down to is the integral part of it is to throw all that aside, all the politics of it, and just look at it as a rational issue. People are hungry. They need help. We help them. It's that simple. But it is a more complicated thing than that, you know. I mean, there are people who are trying really hard and don't have enough. We have areas, things like Habitat for Humanity, so we can build houses for people who don't quite have enough to make it work, but they have a family and they want it to, and they're making an effort, and they're working their ass off in society. These are the people that deserve help. The ones that are sitting on their ass collecting checks, that's a different story. There are a lot of lazy people, so we do have to kind of take all the angles into consideration when we're helping one another. But my point is that integrity, I think, involves a certain assistance of one another, and not just a certain tolerance of one another, but an acceptance and being able to put yourself into a situation or a group of people and act appropriately with that group of people. Doesn't mean you're changing who you are. It's just like the things that we talk around with our best friend are different than the things we talk about with our wife, different than the things we talk about with our moms, and it doesn't mean that we're fake in any one situation or another. It means that we're integrating into that situation. So when people say, oh, that's just the way I am, which is something that I've used in the past quite a bit, you know, I step back and look at that and say, well, if that way of being is affecting others adversely, how can I change that? You know, and it's stuff I work on. You know, every day is a new lesson. You know, some of the most obvious things aren't always the first things that we work on, but you know, we do our best. So, hope everybody's doing well today. It's going to be a nice one here. I hope it's the same for you. Take care.